2005 on Triple J.
We met as friends about 5 years ago, just at university, just above Birmingham. And when we graduated, we moved. The four of us moved to Birmingham to try and get day jobs and work on a band in the evening and try and get a deal. And it took us about a year and a half to get a deal. So in that period of time, we were kind of an unsigned band playing around Birmingham and stuff. And Birmingham's a big place. It's the second biggest city in the UK, and but it's not like a Liverpool or a Manchester or now the North East. It's never had one thread of bands, not like a scene or everything coming out of it. So it's quite a strange place in that respect.
Why do you think it doesn't have a scene?
I don't know. I mean, it's so culturally diverse compared to most cities. If you just look back to the history of the bands that have come out of Birmingham, you've kind of got UB40, Duran Duran, and Black Sabbath. Three totally different bands. And there are others, but there's never been one thread that you can put your finger on or whatever. But I don't know if there'll ever be a scene coming out. But Birmingham's got people kind of look down their nose at Birmingham as well. It's kind of I guess bleak town and not much going on for it other than the fact it's massive and in the middle of the country. But it kind of looked after us until we were ready to get a deal. It kind of sheltered us away from London and the music business until we were ready, really.
Yeah. And how did you get the deal?
I mean, that period of time that we were gigging around Birmingham, we had a demo recorded and we had some A&R interest quite early on, and we were meeting with lots of different labels, and that went on for about a year. And then we met up with the people at Kitchenware, and they kind of were most in tune with what we wanted to do, basically, a career in music and build up over a period of time and release a number of albums, rather than trying to avoid being kind of a flash in the pan or kind of avoid the hype that goes with lots of new bands. And by signing to an independent label, we kind of maximised our chances of doing that, minimising the hype.
Being wary about what a record company can do to your career very early on, is this because you've spoken to friends in other bands and realised that their experience is not an experience you want to share for your own band?
I mean, there are lots of horror stories from bands that go through bad deals with labels, but I don't want to go into names or anything. But I mean, for a band like ourselves, not making the most mainstream of music, but in some respects it could be described as pop music, and guitar music is popular at the moment, but it's not kind of Keane territory or Coldplay territory, I guess, from a slightly more arty background, and we're trying to make that kind of music, but make it for a long period of time. If you're on a major label and there's a lot more money thrown at you, and you don't sell X amount of records in X amount of time, your future can be in trouble. But where we are at Kitchenware, we're actually very secure, and we don't have that kind of restriction on us. Well, of course, at the same time, we don't have that kind of money thrown at us, but that's the decision we made.
It is a slight trade-off, but it's better to kind of feel secure about your future than to feel like it's only going to be existing for a period of about 12 months for you.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, we weren't kind of watching the charts, kind of hoping it would go in a certain position, because we knew if we didn't go above a certain position, our career would be in jeopardy. We're fairly, like I said, we're comfortable. We're very secure.
One of the singles, you mentioned 3 singles so far from this debut album by you guys. One of them has been Munich, which has done really well for you in the UK charts. It actually went top 20. Was that a bit surreal to kind of see your name that high up in the charts?
Definitely. We never kind of expect the next thing to happen. We've got self-belief, and we believe in what we're doing as a band, and we think we believe in it. But we never kind of. You go back, we never kind of expected to get a record deal. We never kind of expected to see a record on the shop. We're not that kind of big-headed. We don't. Obviously, we want to be successful. We don't aim to be U2. We just aim to do it for ourselves, really. And if people are liking it, that's great. And yeah, when Munich went in at 22, and then Blood went in at 18 recently, and the album went in at 13. It's very, very surreal.
Another sign of success, bands always say this, but they always say that when you kind of see the crowd mouthing the words to the songs, that's a surefire way of knowing that your material is getting through to people.
Well, definitely. I mean, we've had that on this tour, really, obviously, because we just recently finished a little stint of touring that I guess it was the first bulk of album tour in this country, and that was exactly the reaction, especially the front half of the audience. Obviously, people are still reading about us and coming along and trying and wait and hoping to be impressed by us or wanting us to win them over, and then they'll maybe go and buy the record if they feel they enjoyed it. But down the front, we're getting some very obsessive fans already, which is great. People singing the words back at you, but it's something that we're not. We haven't been used to. It's quite strange adapting to that, but it's great.